Warren May, author of When God Calls, The Heart and Ministry of a Holiness Preacher, Reverend Dr. V. Seymour Cole. I wrote this book several years ago. It's my privilege and pleasure and honor to have been asked to do so. And the Nazarene Church, and this particular church, Bronx Bethany Church of the Nazarene, asked me to explore the life of this holiness preacher who really is the founder of Bronx Bethany. You may not know that much about him because it's been a few years since he was actually pastoring here, but God gave him a vision, and God gave him the wherewithal and the resources to really start a church on this corner, and gave him that vision, really gave him a vision of a little white house, and he saw it when he came to this corner and knew right then and there that that was the answer to his prayer, answer to his dream. And he started this church, and here we are today. And so during the course of this month, we're going to look at a couple of the stories that are inherent in this book and see how they really are appropriate and how they're so relevant to our situation today. I'm going to read a story from chapter 6 called The Pastor, where it says, sometimes when he visited the sick in a hospital or in a nursing home, he would enter the room, see that it was full of people, but recognize each person as an individual in his or her own right. He literally touched them, each one. Despite how sick or bad they looked, he would talk with them, and then he would pray with them. Visitors to Bronx Bethany would occasionally say that they were persuaded to visit the church because they had witnessed Pastor Cole in action during a visit to a hospital, nursing home, or hospice. He spoke to my sister. Your pastor prayed for my mother on her deathbed. He didn't know me, but he prayed for me that day. Would be typical testimonies shared by visitors, some of whom came to the church with the expressed purpose of sharing their testimony and seeking to know more about this unusual man of God. This is what you call empathy, said Spencer McFarland. You can feel him experiencing what you are experiencing. Indeed, Pastor Cole could go to the scriptures and share an uplifting word. He was greatly admired for being able to do that so effectively. Church members long for a pastor who will visit them, particularly during days when sickness rears its ugly head and confines them to a lonely bed. For the sick and shut in, the remotest time is at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, when all their friends are in church and are fervently engaged in worship. Such bedridden souls would give anything to hear their phone ring and a companion say, I was thinking about you this morning. The infirmed would love to substitute the humming and beeping of hospital monitoring and fluid intervention machines with the melodies of classic hymns sung by robed choirs, or to see the brilliant light of day shine through a majestic stained glass window, or to feel the prayerful touch of a dear friend, or to stand up and join in singing exuberant praise and worship choruses. In those days, rare were the spiritually or empathetically gifted pastors who could recognize and address this vital need. I don't do well with visitation was a statement heard frequently from the lips of far too many collar-wearing ministers. But Pastor Cole marched to the beat of a different drummer. One day, Spencer McFarland, who was employed at Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx, was actually admitted to nearby Einstein Hospital. Late one night, Pastor Cole, thinking that McFarland was in Montefiore, searched for him there. Unable to find him, Pastor Cole called his wife Dorothy. "No," she said, "he's in Einstein." Cole then drove right over. When Cole entered the cubicle, McFarland looked at the clock and said to Pastor Cole, "You know, you could have waited until tomorrow to call on me." Cole said, "No, because I went over there looking for you. I should have been here yesterday." At that moment, McFarland felt touched with a deep sense of appreciation for a man who had gone out of his way to see him in the middle of the night, yet felt he was a day late. Then, to their surprise, a patient in the next cubicle said, "That's your pastor?" McFarland said, "Yes, this is Pastor Cole." She said, "You're fortunate to have your pastor come visit you like this." You know, it just gives me goosebumps when I think about this story that I just read and the ministry of this leader of ours. And after 60 years, this church is now celebrating its 60th anniversary, and the living legacy that Pastor Cole has laid down for us. And there's others who are part of this church who are now part of the cloud of witnesses. And so, thanks so much, and we will be talking again, because there are a lot more stories to tell.